The Black Forest. Germany's largest continuous mid-altitude mountain range. The view is immense. Over the Vosges Mountains in the west, across the Swiss and Allgäu Alps, and right to the foothills of the Swabian Alps in the east. Land with tradition. Land with history. Deep forests, dark ravines, crystal clear springs. Beer and the countryside are inseparably linked. Some talk about the Spätzle and Zäpfle land, a land with its own special pasta and Rothaus beer.
Schwarzwälderisch.
Black forest-like, drawn from primitive rock.
Mir schmeckt Rothaus einfach.
I just like the taste of Rothaus.
Ich glaube,
I believe Rothaus is an institution around here. A warm welcome to the Badische Staatsbrauerei Rothaus AG. In Germany's highest situated brewery, 1,000 meters above sea level. A brewery with history. Beer has been brewed here in the Red House for over 200 years. In 1791, the year of Mozart's death, Martin Gerbert, abbot of the Benedictine Abbey, St. Blasien, founds the brewery on the intersection of the medieval trade route from Freiburg to Waldshut and from St. Blasien to Bonndorf. The brewery is named after the old, already existing Wirtschaft zum Roten Haus. On January the 25th, Ludwig Ebler takes up his post as innkeeper and master brewer for the annual salary of 500 gulden, free accommodation, firewood, light, a garden, and a potato field. Times have changed, but traditions stay the same. It's a lot of fun to work with this company. My father worked here as a driver for 37 years, and as a child I joined him for many a ride. What would the Black Forest and the Southern Black Forest be without the brewery? Our staff know the Black Forest and its people. On their way to our customers, they've become familiar with every nook and cranny. The market is supplied daily, and the demand is great. I don't think there is any other region in Germany where one can say that the customer is so loyal to a brand. Here one buys Rothaus, and without a doubt, this has something to do with the quality of the beer. It's just an integral part of the region. It's an institution. Quite simply, nothing else compares to it. The flavor of any good beer begins with the water. Of course, the basic resource, our water, plays a very important role in beer production. It's soft water, and therefore ideal for brewing. One could say the Rothaus Brewery draws from one of the very best water sources and is not without good reason that it's regarded as one of the very best beers.
Ja, und ich glaube, das ist ganz sicherlich das Geheimnis von Rothaus.
I really believe that this is the secret of Rothaus. Mysterious, the underground water reserves. Full of atmosphere, the brew house. Tradition builds the basis upon which the brewery constantly develops itself. The copper domes are over 100 years old. Today, they're joined by the very latest state-of-the-art processing methods, because it's only through continual development that one can remain true to oneself. Specialists are working behind the old facades of one of Germany's most beautiful and modern breweries. Every stage of the brewing process, from malt delivery to clarification, is supervised and documented. This permanently guarantees a premium quality beer. Tradition and progress, a highly successful combination, typically Rothaus. There's no better post for a master brewer than here at Rothaus. We brew according to the German purity laws from 1516, using solely malt, hops, yeast and water. Premium quality high Black Forest beer is produced thanks to the talent of the master brewers and the most advanced technology. You can simply taste it when you make a toast with Rothaus. Although our original wort content is nearly 1% higher than that of other breweries, and we use state-of-the-art brewing technology, we have stayed true to our conservative processing methods. Low-temperature fermentation, long and cool maturation, fastidious hygiene, and produce a beer that still distinguishes itself from all others. So how is the beer actually made? Come with us on a tour around the brewery with Birgit, our Black Forest lass. Would you like to know what's really in our beer? All ingredients come from nature. Pure spring water from our own wells. Barley from the best cultivators in the region. And hops from Tettnang on Lake Constance and the Hallertau. Rothaus only uses premium quality raw materials from integrated, controlled cultivation. After delivery, the malt is filled into a roller mill. Mating rolls refine the grain and ensure that the valuable substances can be easily extracted. The grist is blended with water in mashing tubs and heated. The secret of beer brewing has now begun. A glimpse into the wort kettle could really get one daydreaming. Is beer brewing more than just technology? I don't think one can create with technology and a textbook alone. One also has to create with instinct and feeling. The so-called mashing process lasts for about 2 hours. Enzymes break the malt starch down into malt sugars. The solid content, the so-called spent grains draff, is now separated from the liquid wort in the lauter tun. Thanks to the hops, the beer can now unfold its unmistakable flavour. Wort and hops are now boiled for a good hour. Now movement comes into play again. The whirlpool clarifies the 90 degrees hot wort of the trub that the brewing process has produced. Before entering the fermenting cellar, the wort has to be cooled down in heat exchangers. Yeast ferments the wort. Rothaus only uses premium quality top or bottom fermented cultured yeast from its own pure cultivation tracts. Technology and hygiene determine the atmosphere in the cellar. Shining steel, because the aesthetics of the room also reflect the quality of the product. I don't think there is any better publicity than taking people on a tour around the neat and pristine brewing plant. The beer settles in the storage tank. It's stored there at icy temperatures for several weeks. We take our time, an important step in Rothaus quality. And while our young beer is resting, we can also take a break. The high black forest not only invites you to a ramble, but also to enjoy a hearty picnic. Well, this is truly the Black Forest. Black Forest ham, with fresh bread and a nice cold beer. It just wouldn't be the same without a Rothaus. This is a declaration of love, one might say. My favorite beer is Pilsner, and in the evening I enjoy a Tannenzäpfler with my supper. And over again, the water of the Black Forest, pure and precious. Rothaus protects its source, the basis of our wonderful beer. Yes, because we have such strong bonds with the Black Forest, and our home, nature conservation and ecology have to have a top priority for Rothaus, and they do. That is why we set standards regarding water consumption and ecology. Rothaus has bottling facilities erected according to the very latest state-of-the-art technology. Is it just the 60,000 bottles per hour that impresses, or more the perfection with which everything runs? Everything runs smooth to plan here, and everything happens at just the right moment. Thousands of beer crates leave our brewery every day and make their way to our customers.
Egal wo du hinkommst.
No matter where you go,
Klar, der kommt aus dem Rothausland.
you come from Rothaus country.
Rothaus ist Schwarzwald.
Rothaus is the Black Forest. The daily journey not only takes us through glorious countryside, but also through age-old cultural land.
Wir wissen ganz genau,
Not only are we well aware that our roots lie firmly embedded in this region, we also know that we will be staying here as the Black Forest Brewery.
Der Schwarzwald
The
ist
Black
für
Forest
uns
is simply home for us
Schwarzwälder
locals.
die Heimat.
Wenn man im Schwarzwald groß wurde, ist
When one is born and bred in the Black Forest, one is always aware of the changing atmosphere.
der Winter extrem stark.
Extremely harsh winters with severe snowfalls.
Das Land.
The land really does have its very own history. The Romans called it Marciana Silva, frontier forest. Its treasures remained long hidden. The Romans dug for silver and lead ores. Charburners and glassworkers made a living from the richness of the forest. Monasteries reclaimed the land. Today, the treasures of the Black Forest are open to everyone. The lakes Titisee and Schluchsee are sightseeing highlights. But it's not always so tranquil here. No big sporting event takes place here without Rothaus. For example, the ultra-bike marathon Kirchzarten, Germany's biggest mountain bike race. Besides numerous sporting events such as handball, ice hockey, beach volleyball, marathon or football, Rothaus is of course also present at the renowned summer ski jumping, which takes place every year in Hinterzarten. But Rothaus also supports cultural highlights and rock concerts. And, somewhat quieter, the Seenachtsfest, the nighttime lake festival at Lake Schluchsee.
Aber der große Renner ist einfach das Rothaus Bier.
But the biggest hit is simply the Rothaus beer, and honestly, Rothaus needs no advertisement. Success has a history. Following its foundation by the monastery St. Blasien, the brewery came into the possession of the Grand Duchy of Baden in 1806, and ultimately to the Land Baden-Württemberg. Such a tradition breeds commitment. Rothaus, These are the renowned beer specialities, such as our Pilsner. A strong but elegant beer with a fine hops aroma, especially famous as the Rothaus Pilsner Tannenzäpfler. Our Märzen export, a mild hops and full-flavoured beer with a high original wort content. Or our wheat beer, a tangy, top-fermented beer with typical hops flower and a light, fruity aroma. And not to be forgotten, our Radler, Shandy, alcohol and calorie reduced with a refreshing lemon flavour. We strive to maintain our high standards. The most important thing is that our renown stays just as good as it is now, so that we can also maintain the outstanding reputation of our brand in the future. Rothaus stands for quality and for its roots in our home, the Black Forest. Our staff are also deeply ingrained in Rothaus and its operations, and it's here that a further secret of the success of our beer lies. I've been working with Rothaus for 27 years now, and I really enjoy it.
Rothaus ist ein hervorragender Arbeitgeber.
Rothaus is an outstanding employer, and working here is a lot of fun. Everybody helps everybody else. It's a great working atmosphere. I believe the strength of Rothaus is their employees. The working conditions are just right. The teamwork is excellent. When you mention that you work for the Rothaus Brewery, people say, "Gosh!" It's a hallmark here in the region, and I believe this also goes for further afield. Of course, I'm fascinated by what is actually quite unique in the brewing trade. State-of-the-art brewing in time-honored buildings and, at the same time, a good dash of tradition. The comfort we all take in knowing that we are all still made of grist and grain. To this day, the excellence of our beer still comes first. To maintain this proven quality and to live up to our reputation, we constantly develop ourselves further, even in areas that don't immediately come to mind. We have an outstanding clarification plant that will be extended to have a more than sufficient capacity for many years to come. A far-sighted investment. We're also actively committed to reducing fuel oil consumption, and it also goes without saying that we are certified in environmental management. And because environmental protection is important to us, and we are one of the most modern breweries in Germany, we always use returnable bottles. I usually drink Pilsner. Word-of-mouth recommendation is the key to our success. Those who have tasted it, stick to it. And this is why Tannenzäpfler is a household name all over Germany, even in Berlin's Schwarzwaldstuben. The Rothaus image cannot be imitated. It has simply grown over time. And the publicans also see it this way. Rothaus is the perfect partner for our customers and for us. Rothaus is not only loved by traditionalists, but Zäpfler parties are also cult. Rothaus quite simply belongs to a cosy get-together and unites young and old alike.
Das Wichtigste für eine Wirtin sind
All a landlady needs are pleasant customers, good business, and the right kind of beer. A beer that would be unthinkable without the Black Forest.